Hi everyone. Today's video is about coronavirus. Let's have a look. Top 5 crazy facts about the coronavirus outbreak. The typical good faith that accompanies another year didn't keep going long in 2020. Between the possible danger of a universal conflict, energized by the Iran-United States strife, and the real danger of a COVID, the previous few months have been tense. These are terrifying occasions, and the internet is by all accounts loaded up with bits of hearsay and falsehood, and no limited quantity of pearl clutching. Let's unmistakable up the primary confusion. The COVID isn't called COVID-19. All things considered, COVID-19 is the name of the illness brought about by the infection. That infection has been named SARS-CoV-2, Serious Intense Respiratory Disorder COVID-2. Consider it like AIDS and HIV. HELPS is the name of the illness. HIV is the infection that causes AIDS. Unlike our past Wuhan influenza records, we will keep things somewhat lighter here. We'll zero in on the inquisitive side of the infection and the illness, including some fascinating subtleties we haven't covered at this point. The Corona beer brand was damaged. Discussion about misfortune. The Corona lager logo has a crown on it. Crown signifies crown in Spanish and Latin. Adventitiously, the COVID got its name from the crown-like spikes on the outside of the infection particles. 1. When a few group previously caught wind of the new infection, they were befuddled and may have related it with the Corona lager brand. They may have even accepted that the infection was spread by drinking the lager. It is indistinct the amount of an effect this mixed-up conviction has had on deals of the lager, as different sources have announced various outcomes. The whistleblower scientist was killed by COVID-19. It's practically similar to the COVID as attempting to wipe out any observers. In a disrupting incongruity, Li Wenliang passed on subsequent to contracting COVID-19. Li, a Chinese specialist who worked at Wuhan Central Hospital, was known for being vocal about the perils of this arising virus. At least as right on time as December 30, 2019, Li cautioned individual doctors about the chance of a flare-up. The Chinese police encouraged him to quit, offering bogus remarks, in an administration endeavor to hide the circumstance away from plain view. After Li's deplorable demise, a major piece of the Chinese populace was naturally vexed. This pushed the hashtags, Wuhan government owes Dr. Li Wenliang an expression of remorse, and we need the right to speak freely of discourse, to drift on Weibo, a Chinese web-based media website. The Chinese government rushed to blue pencil both hashtags. 2. This most recent discussion just adds fuel to the troublesome connection between Chinese specialists and their populace. In 2019, the pressure between territory China and Hong Kong arrived at a limit because of obstruction from Hong Kong against the public authorities' strategies. The coronavirus is deadlier for men. Chinese researchers have discovered that people are similarly liable to be contaminated by the COVID. However, fatalities in China have happened at a pace of 2.8% for men contrasted with 1.7% for ladies, recommending that men are bound to pass on when contaminated. Remember that these insights may downplay the pace of contamination in the two gatherings, so these rates could be reconsidered with new information. 3. At present, the most likely justification the sex contrast can be credited to something that researchers definitely knew. The female invulnerable reaction is more grounded than that of males. Although the specific justification this is as yet unclear, it is accepted to be connected to either the more significant levels of estrogen chemical in ladies or the way that every lady has 2 X chromosomes instead of a man's 1 X chromosome. Both factors add to resistance. This sex distinction could happen for transformative reasons, as ladies need to stay solid for delayed occasions to bear youngsters and sustain them. Coronavirus has already killed more people than SARS. As of this composition, we are around a quarter of a year into this new pandemic. Is there any genuine justification panic? At first look, it appears to be that there may be. From an outright perspective, Wuhan influenza has effectively murdered a bigger number of individuals than SARS, extreme intense respiratory disorder, which was brought about by another strain of COVID in the mid-2000s. Nonetheless, the rates tell an alternate story. As of this composition, 101,906 individuals have contracted COVID-19 and 3,465 have passed on of it. 4. On the other hand, 8,098 individuals turned out to be sick with SARS and 774 died. Up until now, the general passing rate from COVID-19 has all the earmarks of being 3.4%, while the casualty rate from SARS was an incredible 9.6%. Of course, any passings from COVID-19 are too much. Be that as it may, a significant concern in regards to this infection is the manner by which effectively, and guilefully, it can spread. In the event that you are inside 1.8 meters, 6 feet, of a contaminated individual, you are viewed as in danger. That makes any tram a possible problem area for contamination. Furthermore, it can require as long as about 14 days for an individual to create manifestations. That makes this new infection nearly as simple to get as the regular bug. However, COVID-19 is undeniably more deadly. The coronavirus may also kill the global economy in 2020. The worldwide economy acts to some degree like a living being, and it began 2020 with a frightful bug. As indicated by the World Bank, the underlying projections for worldwide development in 2020 were 2.5%, marginally over the post-emergency low recorded in 2019. 5. To exacerbate the situation, the COVID pandemic is influencing China, quite possibly the most remarkable economies on the planet. As per a February 2020 Reuters survey of market analysts in China, their country's yearly monetary development in the main quarter of 2020 is required to decrease to 4.5% from around 6.0% in the past quarter. Much of this is because of the flare-up, and it's relied upon to influence us all. Notwithstanding, these financial specialists anticipate that monetary development could bounce back rather rapidly if the episode is successfully contained. How can this pandemic mischief the economy so dramatically? Well, individuals are significantly less slanted to travel and utilize different administrations as of now since they fear being presented to the infection. Nonetheless, we ought to anticipate that an increase in subscriptions should Netflix and other streaming stages as individuals marathon watch shows while stowing away in their homes. A few people believe that the coronavirus is a bioweapon going rogue. Where there is the internet, there are fear-inspired notions. The COVID-19 plague has been taken care of in a shockingly experienced manner by individuals on the internet, aside from an image or two. In any case, the flood of new cases outside Wuhan, particularly in South Korea and Italy, has driven a few groups to be dubious. The secretive passing of the informant didn't help, either. These theories are false, despite the fact that they positively have pulled in the consideration of numerous individuals. As indicated by one hypothesis, China designed the COVID as a weapon. The infection was then delivered to account for rural expansion. Even legislators appear to have connivance fever. U.S. Senator Tom Cotton likewise blamed the Chinese government for injustice.